Welcome to our online classes in math. We're going to begin our session talking about fractions. As you know, fractions are numbers which are not whole numbers. A fraction is a number that's been shown with a number in the upper part and the lower part. The upper part is called the numerator and the lower part is called the denominator. Well, generally fractions are proper or improper. Well, proper fractions are fractions which numerator is smaller than the denominator, as you can see here. 2 divided by 5, also a fraction is like a division because this line is telling you that's a division. 2/5 is a fraction in which the numerator is smaller than the denominator. 1/6 and 4/9. Fracciones son aquellos números que no son enteros, entre los cuales tenemos las fracciones propias y las fracciones impropias. Las fracciones propias son aquellas que tienen el numerador menor que el denominador. Ejemplo, 2/5, 1/6, 4/9. También tenemos las fracciones impropias, what we call the improper fractions. Improper fractions are fractions in which the numerator, as you can see here, is bigger than the denominator. 16/9, 24/6, 18/9. Las fracciones impropias nos muestran fracciones en las cuales el numerador es mayor que el denominador. 16/9, 24/6, 18/9. Muy bien, una vez que nosotros sabemos diferenciar what's proper and what's improper, then we can do all the basic operations in addition and subtractions. Well, the first addition of fractions are the ones that have a common denominator. La primera operación básica de las fracciones es cuando el denominador es común. If you can see here, the denominator is fifths, fifths, fifths. So it's common, es un denominador común. What we do is write the same denominator, escribimos el mismo denominador y luego hacemos la suma de los numeradores. Lo que quiere decir 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 2 is 9. So the addition is 9/5. Subtraction of common denominators. A subtraction of common denominators is very simple. What we have to do is see if the denominator is the same. These are called like terms. Se llaman términos similares, en los cuales tenemos el denominador común igual a 7. Cuando tenemos que hacer una sustracción de un número mayor, siempre tendremos que obtener una resta con un número menor. O sea, no podemos sacar de un número menor un número mayor. That's the main thing. The main thing is that we have to use a subtraction from a number whose numerator is bigger than the other one. We copy the 7, copiamos el denominador 7, we only subtract 6 from 2, which is 4. The answer at the end will be 4/7. In this case, we can see 18/3 minus 2/3. We copy the same. We can also have more fractions to be subtracted. The only condition is that the bigger one should be not smaller than the addition of these other fractions we are subtracting. So if we have a common denominator, in this case it's 3, we have to subtract 18. From 18 we have to subtract 2. So 18 minus 2 is going to be 16. 16 minus 4 is going to be 12. And minus 7, well, we total 18 minus 13. So 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 7 equals 13. So we subtract 18 minus 13, the answer is going to be 5/3. So it's very simple to do subtraction when we have common denominators. Es fácil hacer una resta de las fracciones siempre y cuando tengamos un denominador común y siempre y cuando la suma de los números que estamos restando sea menor que el número mayor del cual vamos a restar. En el mismo caso tenemos cuando tenemos 7/11 menos 4/11. Copiamos el denominador que es 11, restamos 7 de 4 y nos va a dar 3. When we have numbers like this, 7/11 minus 4/11, we copy, we write the same denominator, and we subtract 7 minus 4, which is going to be 3/11. So this is the way we have to do subtraction and addition of proper and improper fractions. Fractions can also be mixed numbers, because when we talk about a mixed number, we're talking about one part as a whole number and the other one as a fraction. So for addition and subtraction, the rule is very simple. What we have to do is add the whole part, in this case, 6 plus 5 equals 11. And then we can add the fraction part. And we have to see if the denominators are common. Of course, they are common. So what we do is add 2/3 plus 4/3. And we know that we have to copy the denominator and add the numerators. In this case, we have 2 plus 4 equals 6, and 3 is the denominator. And I can reduce it and take a third. 1/3 of a 3 is 1, and 2/3 of a 6 is 6 divided by 3 gives us 2. So the answer in this case is that the addition of these two fractions is equal to 2. So that means that I have to add 6/3, replacing the value here, 11 plus 2. Finally, it's going to give us 13. Cuando tenemos números mixtos, sumamos primero la parte entera y luego sumamos la parte fraccionaria. Si la parte fraccionaria tiene un denominador común, lo único que hacemos es sumar los numeradores. Acá tenemos 6 como suma de 2 más 4 igual a 6 y el denominador se copia. Hacemos una simplificación, puesto que son números que son múltiplos de 3, entonces el resultado de 6 dividido entre 3 nos da 2. Entonces, esta fracción había sido igual al número 2. Por tanto, yo puedo sumar 11 más 2 y el resultado final es 13. The same thing we have here when we have 16 plus 8. 16 plus 8 makes 24. And I will have to add the fraction part. I can see that the denominators are common, so we add like 5 plus 7, and it's 12. And I can see that 12 divided by 12 is going to give us a whole fraction. Whole fraction is a fraction that is equal to 1. So if I replace this fraction by 1, my answer is going to be 25. In general, when we do this addition of mixed numbers, we have to be very careful that the fraction part could be changed into a whole number. Cuando hacemos la suma de números mixtos, también tenemos que asegurarnos de que las fracciones pueden convertirse también en números enteros una vez que uno ha hecho la simplificación correspondiente. En subtraction, en la resta, the same thing happens. We subtract the whole numbers first. 19 minus 7 is 12. And then we subtract the fraction part. Here we have 3/4 minus 2/4. They are common, so that means that we can subtract numerators. 3 minus 2 equals 1. It's going to be 1/4. So the answer will be 12 1/4. Another example, we have 4 minus 2 equals 2 in the whole part, and we have these denominators common, and we have the answers. 6/17 minus 1/17 equal 5/17 because 6 minus 1 equals 5. The final answer then is going to be 2 5/15. That's the way we can do subtraction of mixed, addition and subtraction of mixed numbers. Now we talk about equivalent fraction. Equivalent fractions means that we can change a fraction just multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same number. In this case, we will have 2 times 1 equals 2, 2 times 6 equals 12. Well, 1/6 is equivalent to 2 12s. If I can multiply this number again with the same number in the numerator and the denominator, if it's 4, I can multiply 2 times 4 equals 8, and 12 times 4 equals 48. Then we can say that 1/6 is equivalent to 2 12s and also equivalent to 8 48s. So these numbers are equivalent. These fractions are equivalent. I can also find an equivalent fraction by dividing the numerator and the denominator by the same number. If I use 9 12s, I can divide by a number which could be divisible by these numbers. In this case, 9 is divisible by 3 and 12 also divisible by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is going to give me 3. 12 divided by 3 is going to give me 4. So 9 12ths is equivalent to 3/4. It's very simple to make equivalent fractions. Here is another example. Because we can change the same number with different factors. 5 times 4 equals 20. 25 times 4 equals 100. Well, I can change an equivalent number also by dividing this number by 10, because 10 is a multiple of 20 and 100. So if I divide 20 by 10, I gotta have 2 as an answer. And if I divide 100 by 10, I will get 10. So 5/25 is equivalent to 20/100, as well as 2/10 are fractions which are equivalent. Very important when we have to do some operations that involves problems that we can use equivalent quantities, equivalent numbers. Finally, we have to do reducing fractions to the lowest term. What do we do in this case? When we have a number in which numerator and denominator are multiples of a number, in this case 4 is an even number, 18 is an even number, I can clearly say that 4 can be divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 gives us 2. 18 divided by 2 gives us 9. So the number 4/18 could be reduced to 2 9s. So 4/18 is reduced to 2 9s, and these numbers are also equivalent. The same thing happens when we have 3 and 15. Being sure that these numbers are multiples. 3 is a prime number, and 15 is also a multiple of 3. How do I know? I know, but if I add 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 is a multiple of 3. Then I can do a simplification. It's divisible. So 1/3, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 15 divided by 3 gives us 5. So the final answer will be 1/5. I reduce 3/15 to 1/5. I can also show here 4/6 that could be reduced if I take halves, because these are even numbers. Half of 4 is 2, half of 6 is 3, and the final answer is going to be 2/3. When we have 25/100, we can also do a reduction, because these numbers are multiples of 5. So how many fifths are there in 25? There are 5. 5 times 5, 25. How many 5s are there in 100? There are 20. If I can continue, because 5 divided by 5 is 1, and divided by 20 gives us 4. So the final answer will be 1/4. Here's another example that we have 30 divided by 60. If I do the reduction, I will end it up that 30 divided by 60 is equivalent to 1/2. This way, we finished our lessons about common denominator fractions, mixed numbers, and equivalent fractions. Again, I'm wishing you the best. Take care of yourselves, don't get out, and God bless you.